All right, thanks everyone. Really excited to be here. Wow, what a turnout to talk to you about my story and our problem that we're solving. Oops, other way, here we go. And really what I want to talk to you about is why, if you are in a startup, why your first hire should be your network. And I know this is going to work well with this audience, so let's go. So the #1 predictor of career success, who can guess what this is? This is from some research at the Chicago Business School by Ron Burt. Yes? Not just the size of your network, young man, but it's actually whether it's large and open. So the idea that when you have a network, you can either be focused only on your friends and colleagues, and one of the big issues with that is that you only are exposed to similar people, similar skills, and similar experiences. But if you're willing to engage in weaker connections, you get exposed to new groups of people, new skills, and new ideas. And that's why it's one of the #1 predictors of career success. And it's actually called the strength of weak ties. That's the theory. So a little bit more about me. So I was at Eloqua for 14 years. It was a great run. It was in the enterprise software space and marketing. But one of the, as we left that from Oracle and went on to Nudge, a lot had changed in 14 years, right? You had mobile, you had a big focus on user experience, which we didn't have as much at Eloqua. And so we had to figure out how are we going to do this startup differently, both myself and my co-founder, Steve Woods. And so instead of raising a bunch of money and hiring a bunch of people, we spent a good 6 months just engaging with our network. And by spending that time meeting people that maybe we'd met once or twice, trying to learn from others, it was really eye-opening. And there's some key things I want to pass on to you today. The first is that networking has changed. Back in the old days, it was, you know, the salesperson. It was coffees, lunches, and golf. It was business cards. Today, it can be anybody. It's social. It uses content. And the #1 thing you're trying to exchange is ideas. This can be done by everybody. The second is a great thing put out there by a woman named Porter Gale, which is this idea that you should actually first connect on shared interests. It doesn't matter what role they are. It doesn't matter if they're going to help you with something today. Shared interest is the way to do it. And she has a test called the funnel test, where you look at the 3 top passions you have, and the intersection of them is where you should spend time. And then, so for me, it's tech, it's startups, it's food and drink. That's why I'm one of the lead investors in Foodini, the 3D food printer. Have you guys seen that? You should buy that? No, I'm not. I'm actually not. And when you spend time with your network, something happens. And a good friend of mine, Joe Chernoff, calls it the Minesweeper Effect. Who's played Minesweeper here? It's great. You're clicking around for mines, you're trying to find mines, and boom, all of a sudden you hit that open space, and it's like, wow, that feeling, all those tiles disappear. And so I'm going to give you a very quick story of the Minesweeper Effect that I just encountered in the network. There's this guy, Chris Eben. He's the managing director at the working group. I needed to hire a front-end developer. I asked him, where do I go? He says, HackerU. We hire Anna McKenzie. That's great. But there's this other woman, let's call her Sarah, who wants to meet with me anyways, even though she doesn't want to take a job with us, because she wants to learn about startups and she wants to move to Vancouver. So I say, you know what? I know a guy who can help you with Vancouver. His name's James Smith. He works at LaBarge Weinstein. And he just moved to Vancouver and he knows the tech scene really well. Well, James connects me to Cheryl Draper, who's at Unbounce and runs Startup Grand Vancouver, and we have a great conversation with her and Sarah. But James isn't done. He says, you know what, Paul? I was thinking about you from the other day, and you should meet Mark McLeod, ex-CFO of FreshBooks, who's starting up a new business called SurePath Capital to help people raise financing. And that's great because Mark McLeod, so after I chat with Mark, I find out that he knows Jeff Fagden, who's an investor in Nudge and an inventor at Atlas Ventures in Boston. So Jeff talks to me and says, you know what you should do? You should go speak at Inbound. And so we end up calling Joe Chernoff, a friend of mine, and we get Steve Woods, my co-founder, to speak at Inbound. And 2 weeks ago, we're at the Toronto airport, and I bump into Byron Dieter, who's another investor in Nudge and also a good friend. And he just so happens to have 4 extra tickets for the Pats versus Steelers game. And lo and behold, I'm in the second row at the 40-yard line for the opening kickoff for the Pats versus Steelers. And that's the Minesweeper Effect. So what else did it get us? Well, it got us 15 fantastic team members, all done through networking. I know there's a lot of people who are going to help you with hiring people. Please don't take my comment as that doesn't work either. Incredible working space at 111, 10 speaking engagements, including this one, and 2.3 million USD of seed financing. And so that's what we're trying to do at Nudge. Not going to spend a lot of time on this, but we're going to try and help you grow the right relationships from your network. And by the way, that's neednudge.com. And so with that, I want to remind you that your network is your net worth, and I think I'm under 5 minutes.
Questions? When do we get to use Nudge?
Oh, sorry, I should hold this. Yeah, so when do we get to use Nudge? It's in closed beta right now. We're looking to get it out in the fall for open. But you can sign up and you may get in the closed beta. Yes? What makes us different than LinkedIn? I think 2 things. We focus on tracking the strength of the relationships versus you're just connected. And we believe networking happens everywhere. So we let you network wherever you want to versus just on one platform. There absolutely is. So down the road, we believe that as more and more people use the app, that concept of relationship strength and that data asset can be used for enterprise sales teams. And that's something we'll be looking to bring out towards the end of next year.
Any other questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's awesome.